Yeah, so I'm a big Nuggets fan. I guess I'm a Denver Nuggets fan. I guess I'm going to talk about them and yeah, give my opinions. Yeah, first year, first year with Malone at the head. It was an interesting choice. Firstly, obviously he'd gone and done stuff with Sacramento, but Sacramento weren't very good, so it was hard to judge him. He'd done bits of assistant gigs with Lakers. That was exciting, I must say. And he had a great assistant history. And obviously Tim Connolly, I really rate him as a GM anyways. So bringing him in was really interesting.
I think that he played probably some people would like to had him play a little faster game here, but the truth is it was a center-driven offense with DeMarcus Cousins, and wisely he utilized the talent that he had, and I think that's quite honestly all a coach can do is motivate his players as best he can and utilize the talent that he has. In some cases, when you don't have a lot, you have to play different styles.
I played to the strength of our roster, and we were efficient. And that's one thing I stressed to both Josh and Tim throughout the process. I believe in playing fast, but more importantly to me is playing with efficiency. 12 years in a row now, Denver has been top 5 in pace of play. What they've gotten away from is being efficient on the offensive end and being a team that defends at a high level. And that's something I know I can bring to the table.
He's a guy that has a passion for the game that few exhibit, a knowledge of the game that's gleaned over kind of from birth.
His first year, was I was really promised, to be honest. Nikola Jokic, man, that guy was drafted way down in 2015.
Two things you only dreamed would come together. A delicious cheesy quesadilla wrapped around a beefy burrito.
2016, Mike Malone says, here, you can come in. He believed in him. His numbers in Europe were very decent. So it's really interesting seeing him come in. A lot of the old dogs, Dino Gallagher, Kenneth Fareed, Will Bart, they were all stepping up to the plate. And this new guy, Emmanuel Mudiay, point guard, he was really interesting and really good. And I really rated him, to be honest. He was very athletic, very exciting to watch, and he made that season amazing.
Darrell Arthur looking for the baseball pass. He's got Moutier. Moutier lets it go. He got it! He got it! But was it in time? Emmanuel Moutier with a miracle shot.
Unfortunately, he missed out in the playoffs by a very thin margin. But honestly, you could see where the team was getting better and better. And there was a real fight, and there was a youth core, but there was also an older element with the team.
You mentioned us, the Minnesota Timberwolves. A lot of teams with great young talent who are on the rise, heading in the right direction. We feel we're going to be one of those teams. There is a changing of the guard. There's a lot of movement. You go back to last season, Adrian, it wasn't until maybe 5 games to go in the regular season that we were officially eliminated from the playoff run. Now, last year was an anomaly, to your point. I looked at it. You have to win 46 games last 10 years out west to make the playoffs. Last year that wasn't the case, but I expected to get back to that this year. So we have a lot of room to grow and go to get there. 33 wins this year, but as I mentioned, to a man on our roster, when I met with each player at the end of the season, everybody's willing to do whatever it takes to become a team that can compete in the postseason. And we'll see how the season unfolds.
In the second year, funnily enough, things got even better. The team improved so much, and we just narrowly missed the playoffs. Honestly, it was a great season, to be honest, to be a part of. Jokic got so much better. He was basically nearly leading the line in terms of stats 1 year on from joining the team. So it was hard to believe, really. His jump was crazy. But it wasn't, out of the question this guy was his talent, but he just wasn't recognized at the NBA level.
Over the top of Towns. In and out. No, Jokic battling. Jokic there. Jokic scoring. But a good effort by Gallinari first. Jokic back into the game, and Jokic back into the scoring column.
It's a good deep post up.
Gallinari ahead to Jokic.
Man, when he turns left shoulder and slings that jump hook on you, there's really nothing you can do.
Bad looking shot by Jokic, but a pretty good recovery.
You know, he's not athletic. He's not super long, but he's kind of fearless.
All right, shot clock's down to 7. Jokic against Bass.
What a smart play.
Unfortunately, Moutier kind of dropped off a little bit, and that was disappointing. But this new guy, Jamal Murray, came in, and he basically filled in for his shoes, and he probably took what Moutier did in that first season and basically improved on it. He scored better. He was similar enough with assists and a few more rebounds. So I was really impressed with him.
Lead Denver. We start the fourth quarter at the Pepsi Center. Mark Bolivill, Derek Harper here on Fox Sports Southwest. Jamal Murray. And we know that he can knock down threes.
Now Baker in the lane. Trying to pass it under. Nurk's got it. Nuggets lead it by 14. Murray nails it.
And that was the easier three.
We didn't play until the third quarter at Dallas. Just played 7 minutes. Murray hang. That's good. So Jamal Murray, everybody getting in on the act. Oh, final minute of play. And Murray for 3. And Murray drops it in.
Career best 87% for the season last year. Down low Jokic. Back to Jamal Murray on a give and go. And that will count.
And also in that season, we said, we had a strong look at the playoffs. Unfortunately, we missed out by 1 game, as I said. But, that's a learning process. And I think that just drove the team on even more for the upcoming season. And it was just a real fun season to watch because you're watching these young players grow and hopefully become stars,
Nico, you've seen now the Cavs, the Warriors, the championship teams. Denver's never won a championship. Do you think that can happen here? Is that a possibility?
Yes, but Denver didn't make playoff long year, so I think we need to make the playoff first. But why not? I mean, we beat all three. We beat Cleveland. We beat Golden State. We beat all the good teams. So why not? I mean, we can surprise. There is always, we can hope at least,
And coming on into our 3rd season, Jokic was clearly the star. His numbers were amazing. He was nearly averaging a triple-double. He was having a double-double in the regular season. It was crazy. But again, the Nuggets come just that close to reaching the playoffs. And unfortunately, we missed out by 1 game. It was the last game of the season. It was a ride-or-die game against Minnesota. And look, those sort of games can go either way. They had the home court fans, and unfortunately they beat us. And it was another sort of little chip on our shoulder, I think, that we took into the next season, and it really showed. But it was a great season, especially for Jokic, who's putting up amazing numbers. The team were putting up incredible numbers. Murray had picked up his points scoring by 5 points, and Jokic had turned into a near all-star caliber player, really. And it was a great season. We got rid of Moutier. He was just completely gone. And we brought in Millsap. So it was a great season to be part of, to be honest. It was a new learning process. And it was a new team, a new core. And how would they hold him the new, as they say. And again, it was getting rid of, Chandler, Gallinari, and Darrell Arthur. But they were great players, but it served their time, and it was clear in the future, we needed this new talent.
Stripping the steal on the help of Booker, and there it is. And then whoop, right behind the back to Bees. 1 dribble, finishes.
Nuggets were down by 6. All the way, come underneath. Got it! No timeout for the Bulls.
Jamal Murray, don't do him like that.
And Eustace back in 1.4 in regulation. Jokic. Harris, good if it goes!
Jokic running out of time here. Finds Gary Harris. Cash money rules.
We're in the early stages of the offseason after Denver's regular season ended with a heartbreak. One of the biggest takeaways from the Nuggets exit interviews is that Michael Malone is returning for a 4th season. Harrison, was this at all surprising to you?
It really wasn't, Allie, considering when you look at how this Nuggets season ended. I mean, this team came back from the brink of elimination to win 6 out of their last 7 games and only missed the playoffs by once. And I think when you look at some adjustments that were made down the stretch, Mike Malone had a lot to do with that. I didn't get a sense from talking to people inside the Nuggets organization that firing Mike Malone at any point this season was a real possibility. Certainly fans might differ on that opinion, but that's not really the sense I got, and really for 2 reasons. You look at this team he inherited. When he first came here, Denver won 30 games the season prior. They won 46 this year, so that's a substantial amount of improvement year over year.
Yeah, the 4th season, coming into that season, again, there was a lot of high hope. We had to make the playoffs, and we're missing it just narrowly by 2 years. This season wasn't as impressive as the previous season, but what impressed me was actually the playoffs. In the regular season, Jokic and Murray, you wouldn't say they coasted. They had great seasons, but they didn't really improve on last year's records. They kind of remained the same. The one thing I can say was Jokic was very clutch this year, and the 2-man game in the last couple of minutes of games and in overtime, we were typically winning those type of games. So that was really promising. And while the playoffs were even more promising, because whatever we did in the regular season, the playoffs were above that. So going into that playoffs, my expectations were like, I'm excited to be here firstly, and secondly, I'm really happy. I think we're going to prove ourselves. So that first series against the Spurs, we won very narrowly. The second series we lost, which was really sad, but the numbers spoke for themselves. Jokic was on fire in the playoffs. He was scoring 25 points a game. Like, not many people can say that their regular season numbers jumped up that high, and definitely he was up there and one of the best playoff players that year.
Jokic in the lane, to the bucket, score! And the Nuggets are on the board.
Look at these screens. There's Gary Harris, then Jamal Murray, and then he knows that Pirtle got hit on that last.
Naturally, he's one of them. Great story, Brent Forbes, undrafted out of Michigan State. And that's what he does, dropping dimes. Jokic inside to Harris for the nice layup. Just watch. See, he never thought that the pass would be made. Well, when you play against Denver, Denver is one of the top teams in the league in scoring, shoot over 80%. Jokic kicks it back out to Barton. They just call him Thrill, his teammates do. You're going to see there's the double team. Watch, see, there's the rotator, but he's a step late.
But unfortunately, Murray probably wasn't at that level yet to perform consistently highly. And you can't blame him, he was only 21 at the time, 22. But it was clearly a learning process, and it was the first playoff appearance by the Nuggets in 5 years. So I think that season it was like, let's test the waters here, let's see what we can do. It ended up being 2 fun, close 7-game series. It was clear that chip in the shoulder was growing, and it was clear we could have beat the Blazers that year, but it would have been the Golden State Warriors, so it could have been a drubbing in the next round. So I mean, at the end of the day, it was the experience that mattered the most, and it was the achievement that we were going to go on to get the next.
After the 54 wins and nearly reaching the conference finals, how do you think the perception of your guys' team has changed around the league?
Yeah, I think we sent a pretty loud message. I think there were questions about our team all year long for whatever reason. How legitimate are they? Are they really a number 2 seed? Can they take their game into the playoffs with so many young guys that have never been there before? And so I would say we answered so many questions about our team in the best way possible. Obviously, we'd love to still be playing, but to get 14 playoff games under our belts and to show that a 24-year-old franchise center can put up historical type numbers. A 22-year-old starting point guard making his playoff debut can go out there and play at such a high level and do some amazing things on a national stage. I would say for me, Mike, we answered a lot of questions that people had about us, but we only strengthened the belief that we have in each other.
So next year was the big year. Honestly, this year, similar enough numbers, but a bit of a jump. But the main thing I noticed was the playoffs again, where Jamal Murray had an absolute fire performance. 251 games. He was the top scorer in the team, the top assist leader, and also just incredible numbers. His regular season numbers, plus 10 points, plus 2 assists. Like, it was incredible stuff he was doing in the playoffs, especially against the Jazz, which was one of my favorite playoff series of all time. Incredible series. Donovan Mitchell going up against Jamal Murray. You can't understate how exciting and fun that is.
Up by 1. Murray and Jokic, a little two-man game. Murray gets it to Paul.
Wow, was that a backcourt?
That's what Quinn Snyder was saying. Murray for 3, got it! And the lead's down to 1 in a blink off the turnover and the 3.
So as good a start as he had, he's disappeared here a little bit.
For the tie, Murray! Butter! Ingles on Murray. Around the Jokic screen. Hit him with the hesitation move. Murray, oh, he's on fire! 12 pounds stronger than he was a season ago in the playoffs. Looking for atonement this year. Jukes Ingles, and he has it working. Under a minute to go. Off the Jokic screen, got free. Raising up! Jamal Murray.
And Jokic was consistently there. The two-man game was excellent. And that is what advanced us. The will to fight, being backed into the corner. We overcame 2 3-1 deficits. Utah Jazz was fun, but LA Clippers was unbelievable, beating Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and advancing to the Western Conference Finals. First time in a long time. On the days of Melo, where we were beaten by Lakers. Could we get revenge? Well, no. The Lakers team was very good. We did lose 4-2, so we did win 1. 4-1. We won 1 game, but it was clear, they were just a step above. And in a way, I must say, the whole experience was absolutely amazing. It was, of course, in the bubble during the pandemic that is currently happening, and it was just a great time to be a Nuggets fan. And I was over the moon to be part of it, to be honest. And my hopes for the future are very high. And I think this team can do great. Can do great things. And I think this team, this core, if this stays together, Michael Porter Jr., get him up to the level, consistently have Murray at this level, and just keep Jokic at the club, you're going to win a championship. It's going to happen, boys. Thanks for watching.
What encourages me most is how young we are. What encourages me most is the fact that we have drafted and built this team from an organic method. We have young players that are growing up and continue to amaze. And what also encourages me, Katie, is when you can stare at defeat in elimination 6 straight games and find a way to advance. The only team in history to ever do that. And, this matchup, they beat us 4-1. They're a really good team. They're in the NBA Finals for a reason. But I think this series is a hell of a lot closer than the 4-1 would indicate. No silver lining, but I'm encouraged by the growth, maturity, and development of all of our players. And our young guys are only going to get better, which is really exciting if you're a Denver Nugget fan.